follow the sun, which way the wind blows when this day is done. Breathe in the air, set your intentions, dream with care. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun. So follow the sun, the direction of the sun, the direction of love. Breathe in the air, cherish this moment, cherish this breath. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. A brand new moon, a brand new sun. When you feel love coming down on you like a heavy weight, when you feel this crazy society heading to the strand, take a straw to the nearest waters and remember your place. Many moons have risen and fallen long before you came. Which way's the wind blowing, and what's your heart say? So follow the sun, which way the wind blows when this day is done.
Oh, yeah. Paula, Hanke, Ryan Crabtree, and the World Beat Band, thank you so much. Follow the Sun. Follow the Sun, a perfect song indeed for this day. Becoming the Living Journey. I am not Laura Collins. As much as I would like to be, because she's on vacay this week. We've got David Sharpe, who's going to be delivering a message today. Welcome everyone that is here, folks that might be joining us for the first time or the first time in a long time, and for folks that are online and maybe joining us in the future. Welcome. So there's a ballad from the 70s called I've Never Been to Me. Some of you may remember it. I'm not going to sing it for you. I'm sorry, because, you you might throw things at me. But I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. I first saw it performed in the film Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Some of you might know that. The premise of the film: 3 drag performers hop onto a rickety old bus and drive from their comfortable home in Adelaide, Australia, through the rugged Australian outback, through some rough and tumble towns like Coober Pedy to Alice Springs, and naturally their journey there, it's beset with all kinds of adventures that could tear good friends apart. But in a heroic journey, of course, it brings them closer and closer to the self. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. Last year at about this time, I was preparing for my own drive out to the desert, not in drag, though in my heart, always a little bit there. And my travel history sure can look a little exotic, but it was questionable whether I've ever been to myself. After 23 days solo on the road, in heat, mud, mosquitoes, and arduous conditions, and decades of spiritual GPS rerouting, things that had no longer been working out, I finally made a destination after thousands of miles to myself. And I'm staying. That is to say, the journey to such distant places took me to the closest place that I've been skittish to pencil in, and I trust in our invitation to the open road, friends, is the journey to the heart. And the journey to the heart that is right next to you. As one of the readings in today's meditation in the bulletin goes, from the door for this journey opens inward as well as outward, and the inner terrain is often more rugged than any outer wilderness. The inner terrain is often more rugged than any outer wilderness. My friends, that sounds like an invitation to lace up our boots and embark. So I invite you to stand as you are able and embrace the day of the living journey. Let's sing.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Jubilee. Well, as I'm sitting here reading through the bulletin and all the good content of everything, the journey of, it just excites me, and I don't know which way to go. I kind of get that spiritual ADD thing going on. I just kind of like, I want to say this, I want to say that, I want to and coming into this new form of what we're doing and as we're transitioning, and again, being a little off kilter in our directions. How about in this moment, for those of you that can and are willing, to just a moment, just to encircle all life, to not necessarily divide the circle into sections or quarters of the directions, but as we transition, the all-encompassing journey of life moving in a circle, the sacred hoop of life. If we're on a journey, then doesn't it mean that we have to be somewhere in this hoop? And in this time of the seventh generation, the coming of our young people that are showing up to be leaders, our future elders, what are we doing in this time to remember as we move forward in the energy of the rotation of the earth, to go backwards and to remember? Let's remember for the next generation. If you will, stand with me, and let's just in our hearts and in our spirits encompass all the directions of life. And hear us, Creator, and hear us, ancestors of all beings and of all things, of earth, of sky. We ask you to come and to open our hearts to the expanse of the great mystery of life, to all the unknown in the depths of the sea, to all those beyond the stars that we can even see in our eyes. We ask you to help us and guide us in a way that we embrace all of these things, the great mystery that leads us to ask questions, that leads us to wonder about what lies beyond. Walk with us in this journey as we gather in a circle of people, a tribe of this earth, as we join our voices to the wind from the depths of our heart and the depths of our spirit and our soul. Know, ancestors of all living things, of the past and of the future, that we stand before you as a community, as a tribe, one indigenous people of this earth, to let you know that we're here to be of service and to honor the voice of the past so that we might share those visions with the future. Journey with us in a good way, ancestors. Oh.
Thanks, Yona. I invite you to remain standing while we sing and feed the hungry.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny
seated.
Good morning, everyone. So this is the time when we do the Jubilee in Action announcements that tell you what's going on, how you can get involved. And we've got a couple of announcements that are happening. Gretchen, are you going to make an announcement? Okay, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Good morning. It's such an important part of every week when everybody comes to the front and shares in the hunger basket with the funds that we are committed to taking out into the community to honor the original Jubilee intent of sharing. We've had a team for 20 years that has overseen the outreach giving, and those people are mostly not involved anymore. And so the outreach money is coming in, but it's not going to be going out unless we get some new people who are called to that ministry. So we'll have some more to say, hopefully in the next couple weeks about that, but please consider if that's something that touches your heart, and let me know if you'd like more information.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Susie Davis, coordinator of community life, and we've got some things going on. Easy for me to say. Pathways to Jubilation. This is the way that you get to learn and be involved in learning about how you can contribute to Jubilee, where Jubilee comes from, what our roots are. We're going to have a series of 3 pathways to jubilation over the next few months. The first one is going to be on Sunday, July 23rd. It's going to be from 6 to 8. If you would like to attend that, please email me, susie@jubileecommunity.org. And I'm creating the list of folks, and you'll get an email about more details about that. So please join us. Even old folks that have been through Pathways before, we want to welcome our new people, and just please be involved. We're going to have a Jubilee birthday picnic on August 6th. We've got a team of folks that are planning that, so put it on your calendar, August 6th, after the celebration. And we have a member of our congregation, Elizabeth Mead, who is over here in her rolly chair. Elizabeth lives downtown, and she needs help getting to the celebrations. I'd like to see some folks step up to volunteer to help with that. Michael has been doing it the last few weeks, and he's going to be traveling this summer, and we need another volunteer. Not a big deal. Pick her up and help her in and out of the chair, which she's very mobile. She just needs a hand, right, Elizabeth? Yeah, and then be able to put the chair into your car. So, yes, Laura? That chair folds up, right? Yep. Yeah, it fits in the back of a car, in a trunk, or back of your back seat or whatever. And this Sunday, today, Paula, you want to make an announcement?
Oh, yeah, there's a concert tonight. It's more like a party show CD release at Gray Eagle tonight. Love Bubble is a trio that I'm with, along with Peggy Ratus and Hank Bones, and we're going to do a bunch of our brand new originals. We got a brand new CD release, and it's going to be fun. It's upbeat, it's positive, it's great harmonies. Come dressed like a hippie. Or just something fun. We're going to have a little dance area in the back of the room, so it really, really is going to be a lot of fun. If you can, Gray Eagle tonight, 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, so a few other things. The coffee from Nicaragua is available again today. It's in the 6th grade classroom after today's celebration, and it's $12 a pound. We've got some great topics coming up during Via Positiva, so be sure to check out the Seeds of Celebration and see where you might want to share a gift of song, poetry, dance, or some other creative talent. Contact Laura Collins to get on the schedule. And the Belonging, Believing, Becoming Commitment Campaign invites you to share your time, your talent, and your financial generosity with our Jubilee community. If you already filled out a card, I invite you now to come place it on in the bowl in the altar, and you could also place it in the bowl in the altar right after the Sunday celebration. If you don't want to fill out a card per se, there's also an online form, and there's a link to it right on the website, so you can see where it says links and contacts. That's where you can do it online. Let's see. Some of you have asked why we need to make financial commitments so soon after selling the building. Churches that sell their buildings typically run through all their money in 3 to 5 years and cease to exist. We don't want Jubilee to cease to exist. So the best way to make sure that this doesn't happen is for Jubilee to have donations to cover our operations expenses. By making a commitment of your time, your talent, and financial generosity, you're ensuring that Jubilee thrives into the future. The campaign ends next Sunday, so please fill out a card and bring it or go online before next Sunday. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm John, and this is Karen. When we're off on life's journey, we're out adventuring and going through the trials that we may go through, the things that we're going to do in our lives, but at the same time, we need a place to call home to come and get that rest that we need.
We're going to read a few little quotes. Oh, sorry. I'm not used to this, and I'm nervous. So. Hey, we're going to read some quotes. We're music people. We love music. And okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So I am going to read some quotes, and John is going to talk a little bit. The first quote is by Robert Frost, and it goes like this: "Home is the place where when you have to go there, they have to take you in."
I think Howard used this one quite a bit. There were times when I came here that I didn't feel worthy. I've been divorced, widowed, addicted, and in recovery, and yet y'all didn't turn me away. Y'all still gave a place for me to come to that was a safe place, even when I didn't feel that the gifts that I had to give were very worthy. Y'all took me in and gave me a warm place to have a home.
I second that. The next one is something you may recognize. It's a song that we used for probably a couple of years. It's called "Home" by Philip Phillips. If you remember, it goes, "Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know that you're not alone, because I'm going to make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, because I'm going to make this place your home."
So just know you're not alone. We give our time, our talents, and our money because we were given this gift when we needed it. We're very, very grateful for this place that has existed for us. We want this to continue to be available to others who need it and who want it, and also pass it on to people in the future.
All right, and this one is one of our favorite mystics, a man named David Byrne from the Talking Heads, and it's from Naive Melody, which is one of our very favorite songs. And it goes like this: "Home is where I want to be, but I guess I'm already there. I came home, they lifted up their wings. I guess that this must be the place. I can't tell one from the other. Did I find you or you find me? There was a time before we were born. If someone asks, this is where we will be."
So in gratitude for the home that we all create here together, we give of our time and our talents and our money, and hope that you do the same. Thanks.
Karen and John, welcome home, and you help make this place our home. Thank you. Thank you. And so do every single one of you. Let's breathe. Now is when we pray. And here at Jubilee, we have so many ways of doing it. You may ring and sing bowls and bells up here on the altar. Yona and Diane will be at the Western Wall with communion. If you're online, you may enter your prayer requests in the chat or email prayers@jubileecommunity.org. Your prayers may stay in your heart, or they may be expressed out loud, but we know that they will be received by the Holy One. Let's pray. Breathing our prayers. Holy One, know the prayers of all those around us, contained in this space and around it and beyond it. Those that we know and love, and those that we don't know, and especially those that we don't love. Receive the prayers of all, Holy One. Bring all to peace. Bring all to healing on this journey home. Breathe deeply. I invite you to take a hand. Just savoring this moment. All of us have journeyed quite a while to get here. Who'd have thunk it a year ago? Now here we are. We're hardy travelers, Jubilants. Let's just take a moment to think of those who aren't with us and those who are struggling beyond the building, those that we don't know, those who we drive by in tents, in the intersections, those who are hungry, those that are on a journey too. Let's hold them in our prayers. That sounded like a reminder to me. Breathe deeply. Give those holy hands a squeeze. Oh, yeah. Let's sing. I invite you to stand and sing, and then we're going to share God's peace.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love to the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my
Good morning, Mary.
Send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me.
You may be seated. We have a treat, y'all. We have a treat. It used to be in the summertime that we did not have the Jubilee singers, but they're playing with tradition in a good way. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jubilee singers.
So our song for today talks about the peace of Christ. And I went to some of Matt Fox's readings to just see about Christ. So often it's confused with Jesus. And basically, what Christ is the holy in all of the universe. And so we are singing the peace of Christ to you and all of creation this morning.
Thank you, and keep coming back. Keep coming back. I invite you to hear these ancient words from Wendell Berry. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. And from Black Elk, everything the power of the world does is in a circle. The sky is round, and I have heard that the earth is round like a ball, and so are the stars. The wind, in its greatest power, whirls. Birds make their nest in circles, for theirs is the same religion as ours. The sun comes forth and goes down again in a circle. The moon does the same, and both are round. Even the seasons form a great circle in their changing and always come back again to where they were. The life of a man is a circle from childhood to childhood, and so it is in everything where power moves. Our teepees were round like the nest of birds, and these were always set in a circle, the nation's hoop, a nest of many nests where the Great Spirit meant for us to hatch our children. And from Richard Bach, in order to live freely and happily, you must sacrifice boredom. It is not always an easy sacrifice. This is ancient wisdom and holy word. Thanks be to all that is wise and holy. All creation is wisdom and holy word. All creation sings of wisdom and God. Hallelujah. Now, David Sharpe. This man has been telling us stories for some time. And I believe those stories have been just a tease for what's about to happen, because he is yet to give us a whole meditation It is a real privilege to have you up here, and let's have many more of them. David Sharpe.
Thank you. Thank you. Are we live? Yes, we're live. Good. The story I'm going to tell today is called Jumping Mouse. Some of you may be familiar. Is it not coming through? Oh, it is coming through. Okay, we'll move this a little closer. Yep. You may be familiar with this book, Seven Arrows. When I was in my 20s, 40 years ago, I encountered this book, and it's a wonderful book. And the story of Jumping Mouse is within the book. And this is the spiritual journey of a mouse. So listen for your place in this journey and the way it relates. Once, there was a mouse. He was a very busy mouse. He was going about doing the mouse things that he would do. He was eating seeds. He was gathering grass. He was doing all these mouse things, as every mouse does, checking his email, checking his phone, doing all these things. And he heard this sound. There was a roaring in his ears. He looked up and waved his whiskers. He listened, and he couldn't tell what it was. So he went back to doing mouse things, busy gathering food, gathering seeds. He came upon another mouse and said, "Did you hear that roaring in your ears?" That mouse didn't even look up. "I'm busy now. Go away." I mean, he went and asked another mouse, "Have you heard that roaring in your ears?" That mouse looked at him, startled. You must be a fool. Go away." And he went and hid in a hole of the cottonwood tree. But he kept hearing that silent roaring in his ears. And one day he decided he had to go follow it. He kept that sound, and he followed to where that sound was. He was listening very intently when, "Hello, little brother." He just about jumped out of his skin. It was Brother Raccoon. "Hello, little mouse. Why are you all alone, away from the other mice?" "Oh, well," he looked a little embarrassed. "There's this roaring in my ears. I wanted to find out what it is." Oh, that roaring. That roaring is the river. It's the great river of life. "Why, I will take you to see the river if you want to see the river." "Oh, I would love to see the river." And so the mouse went with the raccoon. And they traveled through strange lands and strange smells. And many of those smells smelled like animals that would eat mice. Jumping Mouse was scared. He wanted to run away, but he kept going. And he got to the edge of the river. When he got to the river, he could see life flowing past on the river. Why, it was all around him. There were rough areas where the current was going. There were areas where it got muddy and areas where it got calm. Why, he was amazed. He looked over and looked into the river, and he saw a very frightened mouse. What are you doing out in the river? Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid so far out?" And this voice answered, "I'm not afraid." It was Brother Frog. Brother Frog was out on a lily pad in the river. "I'm not afraid of the river. I live above and below the river. I am the keeper of the water." And the raccoon said, "This is my friend, Brother Frog. He will teach you about the river. He will show you wondrous ways. I must go and look for some food to wash and clean and eat. But I will leave you with my friend, the frog." And the frog said, Little mouse, would you like some medicine?" And the mouse was startled. He said, Am I sick?" Not that type of medicine. Medicine power. Medicine that teaches you about yourself. Some call it magic. If you'd like some medicine, crouch as low as you can. And he crouched as low as he could and jump as high as you can. And the mouse jumped. And when he jumped, he saw across the river. He saw across the plains. He saw across the trees. He saw these beautiful mountains. He was looking at those beautiful mountains. And he started to come back down, and he splashed into the river. He thought he was going to drown. He was going, and the frog was going, "What did you see, little brother?" "Oh, you tricked me. You tried to kill me." He was trying to swim back. He dragged himself onto shore. And the frog said, "What did you see?" "Oh, well, I saw these beautiful mountains." "Yes, you saw those beautiful mountains. And you, little brother, you have a new name." "A new name? Me?" "Your name is Jumping Mouse." Jumping Mouse. Jumping Mouse. Why, I would love to go tell the other mice about this journey that I've heard of and this wonderful place. Is just keep the sound. Keep the sound of the river at your back, and you will find your way back to the mice. And he found his way back to his mouse community, and when he got there, They all looked at him. They all looked at him, and he was wet. It hadn't rained in a long time. So they all assumed that this mouse must be a poison mouse. Somebody must have tried to eat him and spat him out because he was poisonous. And if he was a poison mouse, he would be poisonous to them. So none of them would even talk to them. He was alone. He was there. He tried to eat seeds, gather grass, and do those mouse things. But he had no community left. And that vision of the mountains kept calling to him. So he walked to the river, following the sounds, and he got there and he looked, and Brother Raccoon was there at the river. He told Brother Raccoon that he wanted to go see the mountains, and Brother Raccoon gave him a ride across the river. He crawled onto his back, and Brother Raccoon swam across the river. He crawled out on the other side, and there was the prairie in front of him. The prairie is a very scary place for mice because there's the shadows and the spots up in the sky that are eagles and hawks that like to eat mice. He looked up at the sky and he got his courage and he started to run, and he ran and he ran and he ran as fast as he could, and he came to a clump of sage. It was a beautiful sage bush. There was many bushes together. It was a spot where there was lots of food, lots of shelter, lots of places. Why, it was the most wonderful place he had ever been to. And there he met this wise old mouse. It was a fat mouse. He said, "Oh, welcome, my friend. You can stay here forever. You have everything you need." And Jumping Mouse said, "Well, why, this is beautiful. Why, can you see the river and the mountains from here?" Well, the wise mouse kind of shook and said, "Well, yes and no. I've heard of the river. The river's a wonderful place, the river of life. But the mountains don't exist. If you want to stay here, you have to forget about the mountains. They're not real." And Jumping Mouse had seen them with his own eyes. He knew the mountains were real. He was caught in this dilemma. There's everything that he wants. He has everything he needs. But he knows it's based on a lie. And so he decided he needed to continue his quest to see the mountains. He got to the edge of that sage bush and he got up his courage. And the old mouse came and saw him and said, "You're a fool to go off. Those spots will get you." He said, "I need to go." And he took off running. And he was running as fast as he could. He was running again. He was running and running and running. And he came to a clump of choke cherries. And these choke cherries, again, there was food, there was coolness there was some moisture, there was everything he needed. And as he was there in the choke cherries, he heard this sound. He heard the sound of breathing. He heard that sound of breathing, and he wandered around, and there was a great mound of hair. Why, that mound of hair to that mouse appeared bigger than this whole church. It was a huge mound of hair. It was rising and falling. He got out, he curled, and he walked around. Why, there were 4 hoofs. There was a head. There were great horns. He looked, and the buffalo that was laying there on the ground shook his head. Oh, hello, little brother. Who is that that's come to visit me? Oh, it's great to see you. Why, you are such a great being. Oh, I may be a great being, but I am dying. I am dying, and my medicine says that only the eye of a mouse could save me, and there is no such thing as a mouse. No such thing as a mouse? Jumping Mouse was taken aback a little bit. He thought, my eye could make this buffalo whole again? He had to run out and say, "But buffalo, I am a mouse. And if my eye can make you whole, then you can have one of my 2 eyes." And at that point, the eye popped out of his head. It flew in, and the buffalo took a great breath and jumped to his feet and said, "Hello, little brother Jumping Mouse." And that great buffalo stood nose to nose with that tiny mouse. "I know about your journey to see the sacred river, to see the sacred mountains. I am the guardian of the prairies. I can run across the prairies, and you can run underneath me. You will be safe from the eagles." And he started to run. And Jumping Mouse ran underneath. And as the hooves thundered and the ground shook, Jumping Mouse was frightened. He couldn't see on one side, but he ran and he ran and he ran. And he ran, and finally the buffalo stopped. And when this frightened, terrified mouse crawled out from under the buffalo laughed and said, you should know, I know where my feet go. I walk in the way of the Sundance. I would not step on you. But I must go back to the prairie. I can't go up the mountains. The mountains are not safe for someone like me. I'd fall down and roll over and squish you. I must go back to the prairie so I can give away so the people can live. But this trail, wander up that way and you will find guardians that will take you there. And Jumping Mouse thanked the buffalo and he started up. He started up the trail and he encountered new berries, new smells. He was looking through his one eye and he was running around looking at these things, and he came upon, why, it looked almost dead. There was a wolf on the ground. He said, "Brother Wolf, are you okay?" Wolf, 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 wolf. The wolf lifted up his head and it's like the light went out of his eyes and went back down. Brother Wolf, aren't you okay? Can't you get up? Wolf, wolf. He jumped up. He ran around in a circle. He ran into a tree and fell back down. Brother Wolf, aren't you okay? Why, one of my eyes, it made the buffalo whole. Perhaps my other eye could help you. And at that moment, that eye popped out of his head. And it went into the wolf, and the wolf stood up and howled, "Oh!" And he was crying, but Jumping Mouse could not see him. Jumping Mouse was blind. But that wolf said, nose to nose with that mouse, "I am the guardian of the mountains. I will take you up to the beautiful Medicine Lake up on the mountain. It is the most beautiful lake in the world, and the water is wonderful medicine. I will take you there, and I will be your eyes." And as they walked up the mountain, the wolf described there was a butterfly that landed. Its wings brushed against Jumping Mouse. He described the butterfly. He led the mouse to berries, to seeds. There was an overlook that they looked out, and the wolf described everything they could see. He took him right up to the edge of that Medicine Lake, right up to where Jumping Mouse could feel the water with his whiskers, could drink the water. And the wolf told Jumping Mouse, "I need to go back down so I can guide others up the mountain. But I'll stay here as long as you want." And Jumping Mouse said, "No, you need to go. You need to help others." And Jumping Mouse was alone there at the edge of that lake. He could feel the sun shining down on him. He could feel the spots flying over him. He could hear the sound of the eagles. He couldn't see anything. He thought about getting up and running, but he was blind. He didn't know where he would go. He was there, and he drank a little more of that Medicine Lake, and it was like he went into a long sleep. It was already black, but every thought, everything went silent, and he wasn't sure how long it had been silent. And then he was like waking up, and he opened his eyes, and it was blurry. There was light. I can see it was blurry, and the vision came closer, and he was looking down from way up on high. He was looking down while he could see the Medicine Lake below him. He could see the mountain. He could see the prairies. He could see the buffaloes out in the fields, in the prairie. Why, he could see his friend Frog there on the lily pad. Why, it was so beautiful. He was looking at Frog, and Frog said, "Hello, little brother." "Oh, hello, Frog." "Oh, hello, Jumping Mouse. Jumping Mouse, would you like more medicine magic?" "Oh, I would love more." "Then crouch as low as you can." And he crouched as low as he could. "And jump as high as you can." And he jumped as high as you could. And when he jumped, the wind blew under his arms and blew them out, and he was hanging on the wind. He was flying there on the wind. And he looked down, and the frog looked up and said, "Little brother, you have a new name. You are the eagle." And that's the story of Jumping Mouse. So I want to invite you in your life to be awake to those moments of spiritual journey, to that little voice, to those roarings in your ear that invite you to explore that curiosity and take you on a journey. And as you're on that journey and gifts are asked from you, know that to give a gift is not a bargain. It's not, I'm giving you this gift so you'll give me that back in return. It's giving a gift because it's the right thing to do. So I want to celebrate the spiritual journey that each of us are on. It's a different journey for all of us, but we all carry special gifts, and we all have special invitations. So that's the story of Jumping Mouse. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, David, we can all go home now. Thank you so much. Well, let's get those bowls going around and give some gifts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for these gifts. So, Jubilants, I encourage you in the week ahead, give those gifts of yourself on this journey to those for their journey. We're all just on our way. So as we stand, prepare to sing, hold on to this story of Jumping Mouse. There are many more stories to come. Let's find our way to tell our own story. So let's stand and sing ourselves out into the week ahead. Let's let that river run.
first thing I met was a fly with a buzz in the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been to the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed, and the story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. I've been to the desert on a horse with no name. Be out of the rain in the desert and remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 After 9 days, I let the horse run free, 'cause the desert had turned to sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The ocean is a desert with its life underground and a perfect disguise above. And under the cities lie heart made of ground, but the humans will give no love. I've been to the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. See you next week, Jubilee. See you tonight.